We make art because we're trying to create gestures and metaphors and symbolic, poetic things that have some resonance with people and haunt people's minds and go on to like have some kind of real effect. I think food is often used in a way to delineate cultural boundaries between what's familiar and what's unfamiliar, and food is often very nationalistic, but I wanted to use it in my meal in a transgressive way, either by having unfamiliar food kind of penetrate the bodies of the people eating it, or by having transitive materials, which are materials, or in this case food, that looks one way, but is actually made up of a different material or food matter. So it's surprising in that way, and that relates to the medieval history of those kinds of illusion foods. So I was interested in this story behind the dish of Beggar's chicken because it already is this kind of story of class struggle where the poor steal from the rich and get to eat the food that they stole. There was a beggar who stole a chicken from a rich landowner. As he grabbed the chicken, it was like, "Arr, arr," and the guards started chasing him. So he was like, shit, I'm gonna hide the chicken in the wet clay of the riverbed. And then he came back really quietly at night and he dug it up. He was like, oh, I can't clean this chicken. So he just threw the chicken with the clay and all onto the fire. And he found that when it was done, it broke open and the clay had actually kept the chicken really nice and moist. The effectiveness of this dish really depended on it being performed for my 30 guests who focused their energy upon the act of it's being cooked and then destroyed in front of them and then consuming it and kind of implicating themselves by eating it. Okay, so I'm gonna take some clay and flatten it, probably about 1/4 inch, and then I'm gonna evenly wrap it around the lotus wrapped chicken, and then I'm going to sculpt details to make portraits of the Koch brothers on the chicken. What disheartens me is if people eat food and they're like, they have no expression. If people eat it and they're like, this is horrible or this is great, then I'm happy. The Koch brothers kind of epitomized that kind of rich warlord of the past, and so not only am I using the story to kind of steal back from the rich, but also to make their effigies as a kind of beggar's chicken voodoo doll that then I get to smash open and destroy the way that I'd like to destroy them and then eat their bodies. I think that the potency is not necessarily in the object that I'm making, but in kind of focusing a desire to make something that's destroyed and then eaten and taken into my body. Cannibalism is probably the most extreme way to think about mimesis as a form of magic. It's a way to try to talk about something that I feel powerless or kind of overwhelmed by, so that we can not only take back from the Koch brothers what they've been taking from us, but also control them as a form of voodoo by making their effigies and then symbolically destroying them and then eating them. So now it's time to destroy the Koch brothers. Very tender.
Does it taste like revolution?
Not quite. It's a little dry.